Attention, functional fitness athletes or barbell athletes. Every time you work out, your body is telling you secrets that you can use to then improve your performance. That's right, your body is telling you no evals, no money needs to be spent. Your body's telling you what needs to be done. This series is going to give you an insight to those little tips that your body's already telling you. Today, your ankles are talking to you. They are saying, I am sick of being floppy and getting crossed up on the basketball court, soccer field, or the football field. Today's video is all about improving your performance and no longer losing those ankles. We are officially going to change Brandy's floppy ankles to improve her defense, whether it's basketball, soccer, football, hockey, whatever it may be. But we're gonna start to develop more stable ankles. And we're gonna start with the basics. We're gonna start with the foundation. A lot of people will sprain their ankles and they'll forget this simple exercise and the simple assessment of a single leg stance. So Brandy's gonna go in single leg stance. We're gonna bring this leg up, 90-90 position, toe up. She's gonna hold this. Our goal is to see if she can hold this for 30 seconds on each side. If she's able to do that, we're gonna start to add in more components to this. One's gonna be a head turn, looking over each shoulder, shaking her head no. We're gonna see, can she hold that for 30 seconds? It's okay to have a little bit of a wobble going during this, but we wanna make sure that we're not falling over. If this is too difficult, you can go in a tandem stance, one leg behind, same idea, turn side to side. Next one, we're gonna start shaking our head yes. Brandy, do you love this assessment? Yes, she does. She's developing those stronger, more stable ankles. We're getting more feedback. Think of the ankle talking to the brain sending messages back to the ankle for better stabilization. Good, and then the last one we're gonna do, we're gonna take the eyes away. This one is a difficult challenge for most people. You're gonna close your eyes, hold that balance. Again, if this one's too hard, one foot in front of the other one, hold that position. Again, 30 seconds is the time frame that we're looking for. That is a minimum of 30 seconds to see, can she do this? And then we would switch over to the other side and see, can we do this all over again? Leg up in front, 30 seconds, shake the head no, 30 seconds, shake the head yes, 30 seconds. Close the eyes, 30 seconds. Brandy, open your eyes and hold that. Another component we wanna see is what is Brandy's reactive balance? Sports are a reactive sport, meaning that you have to be able to anticipate and you have to be able to react to what's coming at you. Ready, Brandy? Catch. Good. Can she keep that balance? Again, checking her reactive skills with her balance before we start getting to higher level plyometrics and jumping. Assessment 2, we're actually gonna be looking at the quad to develop a better ankle. Why the quad for the ankle? They are synergists, meaning that they are friends. They help each other in these movements. Think of if you're playing defense and you're sliding, if you can stay in this nice hinge back position, loading those quads and slide, the ankles are gonna have to do less work than if you're standing up straight, trying to move around. So we wanna see what is your quad endurance on each side to help out those ankles. To do that, we're gonna do a single leg wall sit. See Brandy's here, she's kicking up that other leg. We're gonna start the stopwatch. She's gonna hold this as long as she can. Once she's done holding on that side, we're then gonna switch it over to the other side. We're looking to see, is there relative symmetry between this? We want less than 10% difference in the time that's been held between these two legs. If you do well with this endurance assessment, the next one that you can go to is a single leg box squat and see how many reps can you do, again, side to side. The last thing that we're gonna look at is jumping. To do this, we're assuming that Brandy has built up the tolerance to accept the forces of this activity because it can be anywhere from 5 to 8 times body weight and higher. So we wanna make sure that she's built up the tolerance for it. Make sure that you've passed those previous assessments before going to this one. And we wanna do a little test to make sure she's ready for single leg loading. So Brandy, just here, can you accept force? Good, can you jump up and land? Good, can you jump out and land? Good, any issues with that? Feeling good, so we're gonna go on to our single leg work now. She's gonna go from one foot, jumping out, landing on the same foot, straight line. This one is gonna be the least provocative for an ankle sprain because we're not testing too much of that lateral component. It's still working, but not as hard as it's gonna be in the other two jump variations that we have. She's gonna switch to that other side. Again, we wanna see, what does this look like side to side? What's the quantity of it? But then also, what's the quality of it? If we have one side that's landing like a brick, the other side that's soft, we may need to develop some elasticity in that other side. Next one we're gonna do is a crossover. We're starting to stress that lateral component a little bit further. Good, gotta stick the landing, and then we'll go back left side, crossing over the tape measure. Good. The next one is going to be the hardest one to do. You might have a little bit of fear doing it because it's pretty stressful. We're going to be really testing that lateral component of the ankle. Why do ankle sprains happen? Because you're moving your body laterally, the force goes down and your foot starts to go inward. So that lateral component gets really, really strained. So what we're going to do is now we're going to do a lateral jump. Brandy's body mass is moving this way. She's going to have to accept the force, stick the foot position, go ahead, go back. And if her lateral component isn't able to stick that position, she might get into that rolled position again. So this one is the hardest one to do. It's one of the last steps. Brandy did great with that. That was just one jump for each of those movements. How many more jumps are you going to be doing in a basketball game, in soccer, or in football and cutting? So we need to do more than just this. So the next thing, we're going to add in 3 jumps to all of those. Good. And then we would do the crossover and the lateral again. But remember that there's more to come after doing this. This just says that Brandy is ready for more sport-specific conditioning. More work needs to be done to get fully up to capacity for what her sport is calling for. This is just a glimpse into what we would do to improve someone's performance and to get rid of those floppy ankles. There's so much more that can be done, but this is just a glimpse into part of a performance series that we offer to clients that want to take it to that next level. So what we covered in these videos is, do you have the foundational ability to hold a single leg stance as your brain is being taxed with other sensory input, which is going to be happening when you're playing in your game. So we looked at single leg stance, head nods, yes, no, closing the eyes, and then we looked at reactive balance abilities with the ball being thrown at Brandy and her catching it and tossing it back. Level 2 was looking at a single leg wall sit because of the relationship that the quad has with the ankle to propel us forward and to help us in these movements. So we want to make sure our quads and hips and core and the rest of the system is up to par with it. Again, just a small glimpse into what we would be looking at. And then the third component that we looked at was a hop test battery, because you have to be able to jump, you have to be able to cut, you have to be able to accept these forces. Hoping that you are enjoying this content. If you are, share it with a friend, subscribe, leave us a comment below. In today's video, we actually have 2 bonuses for you because there's so much more to cover when it comes to ankle sprains or losing your ankles, improving your performance to not lose those ankles. One is that we need to make sure that we have trunk and hip separation. If Brandy's on offense and I'm playing defense, I want to make sure that I can keep my trunk a little bit square to her and then move my hips so that I'm not just opening up over and over again, that I can move my hips and stay in a good position. So Brandy, come right and then cut back left. I can be here, hip switch, I can stay here and stay there. Versus putting all this force into my ankles, I'm putting it through my hip, through my trunk to my pelvis, which is a really good place to put it if you want to be a powerful athlete. Next thing we want to be able to do is open up. If I'm going to get beat to one side and I switch my hips and then Brandy's going to beat me, she's on my hip, I want to be able to drop step and now turn my pelvis to get going there. First putting the force into the ankle. Make sure that's coming through the hip and the pelvis, not the knee, not the ankle. The hip and the pelvis is rotating me that way. So you're gonna need some adequate hip mobility and the neural ability to separate your trunk from what your hips are doing. Last bonus, Brandy, you brought the band with you? Always have a band in your pocket. Just kidding, but it is good to have. We're gonna put this down around the feet. This is gonna train the lateral muscles of the ankle all the way up the leg to the hip, band around the feet, nice defensive position. You're gonna sidestep and you will start to feel that burn up into the glutes, down through the lateral component of your foot. We're working those lateral muscles to help with some of those ligaments that may become lax because of the sprains that have happened over time.